we streaming? Cool. Right. So that is streaming. Off it. Right. Cool. Let's just mute that. Right. So, last video I did of this, last stream I did was a slightly failed attempt into looking at procedural generation. So today I'm going to proceed to actually sort that out and do something good. So over the last couple of days I've been working on some prototypes in JavaScript rather than C# because it's what I'm more familiar with and that's what I can write code fastest in. So I'm just going to show that, and once I've gone through those demonstrations I will look into transferring that to Unity. I've got a few ideas how I'm going to do this, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, so let's get cracking. Yeah, that light's alright. Cool. So, just checking the stream's not getting too rubbish. That looks all fine. Not buffering or anything. Right. Yeah, so I upgraded my internet so I can actually do this properly. Should be nice. So, righty. So this is what I was working on. Hopefully that'll come through fine. So there's a few things I've been working on. So this is a little tool just to generate some Canvas stuff in JavaScript, just to prototype some ideas on and learn how to do the very basics of procedural generation because I haven't done this before. So I've written a few functions which randomly fill out various blobs. So it's all the orange blobs which are the interesting bits. So it does 100 lines of each function. And this first one just runs every 5 seconds, 5 times a second. So this first one is just generating a evenly distributed single position along the y, or x rather. And that really is just a random value, really. That's literally just straight up, you've got to start somewhere. So after I did just basic randoms, I was looking into how you can influence those random numbers, and the actual basis for this, if I just pull up was, here's a bunch of tabs, ding, Redblob's website. This is basically the best website you can get if you're a game dev. It's just amazing. It's a fantastic blog. It just demonstrates the basics of generating noise and getting it to do what you want and influencing it how you want to influence it, which is pretty great. Yeah, so you start off with just some random numbers, and after that I was looking into influencing it. So we got an ease-in quadratic easing function here which weights it generally to the left, so you can see generally in a whole it's more to the left. Then from there I was doing some noise, and noise is well, I'll just show you how that easing one works. Basically it just there's a few different ways of doing easing functions which you can check out online, but this one's just squares it and then divides it, and just that kind of pulls it to the left effectively. Noise is really just kind of similar. It's random, but it's based instead of just being a single point, it's all the points, but it's still completely random, right? So that's just standard white noise, and I'll talk about like some of the other ones later on. I mean, generally, like, I'm not going to be doing too much code all the time. I'm trying to explain my learning as well, what I've learned and all the other things in these streams. So that if you're new to coding or game dev, you can sort of follow along and get an idea for how you might do it in your games as well. So after that, you've got a standard distribution one, which is intended to just distribute the positions completely evenly, which is useful for a few things. Maybe I don't know if I'd actually need this sort of function for an even distribution in Lovely Golf, but we'll see. And after that one, doing walking as well, so you can walk a certain number of 5 times between 3 and 6 steps each time. So you might do that, say 10 times, and it'll walk along that number of times. And then finally, I was looking at doing a sort of probabilistic sine wave distribution. So it would generate a sine wave with a frequency of 0.25, and use that sine wave as a probability, whether it should place a orange blob at that position. And it's quite useful because you can generate patterns with this, but not have it just completely fixed and static. So 0.5 makes it a smaller sine wave, 1 makes it even smaller, and if you go down to like 0.1, that's just adjusting the frequency. Yeah. So that's the first set of stuff I did. The code for this I will post in chat and also link it on the YouTube video if you're watching on YouTube. So you can see it there and have a play of it if you want. And then the second one is this one, and this was probably more along what I actually need for the game, because the reason I'm doing all this is to distribute the various items on the map, so these trees and bushes and so forth, as I've discussed in previous videos. So in the actual game, for example, at the moment, when you click down and create a new node for the course, it's just randomly placing some stuff and then no real sense to it at all. It's just randomly generates a bunch of stuff, and as you can see, it's not very good at the moment. It's what I'm going to be improving in the future, and that's where these noise functions come in. So noise is generally just random-ish placement of stuff. So here I generate some white noise and just draw it out once with just, ignore the octave stuff for now, but that just draws a series of white noise. And again, this is based on, if I just open this up again, another great little tutorial on generating Perlin noise is this one, which talks about, again I put this in a YouTube video as well, talks about generating different wavelengths of the same noise to apply on top of each other, which then generates Perlin noise. So you sort of get a nice blending rather than just fixed spots or this sort of very ugly looking blurriness. And that just goes through how to do that. It's in like C something or other, C++ I guess, but I just translated it to JavaScript with a few changes. Yeah, so if we run this through a few times and we just get it to update every second, you can see as it increases the octave or decreases, or the number of octaves there are, it increases the sort of blending and blurriness of it, which is a good start. That gives you some sort of idea of where we can go with it. So this is quite basic way of doing height maps and stuff. I won't be doing that in my game, but because you'll be defining that yourself, but that's a good start to it. Once you've done basic Perlin noise, you can then do a cutoff. So this basically looks at the frequency that are generated by these. When I mean the amplitude rather, sorry. So the darker it is, the higher the closer to 1, and if it's pure white is 0. So black is 1, white is 0. And here I just literally just cut out anything that's above 0.5. I just cut out and kill it, and turn it to force it to 0, so it's pure white. And this means you effectively can generate islands after a certain number of octaves, which is quite useful. So you can see you can get continents or small islands, which is quite similar to how I guess they do it in Civ. Civ 5 and stuff. And then this is kind of getting to where I'm actually going to go with my game, which is doing a probability based on it. So instead of, these ones are all about having a gradiated map, which I don't particularly need. What I need is individual placement of items, so individual placement of trees. So here, this is doing the same function, but just like fixing it to on or off Boolean for a probability, basically. Just doing a random integer on it and checks if it's below it. So you can then combine that together with a cutoff to generate things like sparse forest, right? So as you can see, as it gets a higher octave, or higher number of octaves, you get these formations coming up, which, if you get the right octave and the right numbers, cutoffs, you can generate interesting forest shapes. And we have a tree where each of these dots are, right? So this is the sort of thing I'll be using. And then you can take it a nice step further, where you have a cutoff, which is a high probability cutoff. So, is that high probability or high amplitude cutoff? And that generates denser, more clustered forests, effectively, or groupings. And you can vary it as well. So, like, this is quite fun. If you bring it up so that the min and the max are quite close, you end up with more smaller groupings with sort of gaps in between them. And if you bring it down to too low numbers, you get very, very sparse situations. Whereas if you then bring it to, say, 0.4 to 0.6, you end up with these quite spindly groups, which is quite nice. Depends what you want to go for, really. Yeah. So that's quite fun. So I'll put this one in there as well, and I'll put this in the YouTube video too. Cool. Yeah, so that's a general idea of what I've been doing. Now, what I'm going to try and do before I go back into Unity is generate versions of these that are specifically useful for what I'm trying to do, just to tweak the numbers a bit, I guess. Now, I might need to redo this in Unity, but that's kind of where I want to go for now. Yeah. So the two main aspects of this I need to generate are, for currently what I'm working on anyway, at least, are the trees and the bushes. So trees are quite sparse, a little bit clumped, whereas bushes are quite dense and clumped. And I may try and add them together so you can get bushes clumped around trees, but I might do that later. Well, I will do that later, another day. But yeah, I'm going to start off with this. So if we say, we could do it with two different colours here, I guess, but yeah, I guess. No. So we'll start off with a probability cutoff pollen noise octave. That's kind of what I'm going for, but that's a bit too dense, so let's just make these a bit bigger so it's easier to see, and we'll have just a few, because we'll kind of be going over space about 40 units wide, I guess. And we need to cut in the middle of this as well, so I can add a cut off which cuts the shape out of the middle. So I generated this map across the whole course, right? At the moment I don't have any rough or anything, so it'll generate across the whole section. So actually, might put my mouse on. So it'll be this whole area. Nice. That will be handy. Right. So yeah, it'll be this whole area here between these four corners. That will be mapped over. So I'll have to get the size of that and apply a map over the top of it. And then cables. Don't use that. You're over there as well. And then, because this is actually just fairway, what we're actually going to have obviously is the rough around the edge, and they aren't going to have any trees on the fairway, so it will basically cut the shape out of the noise map and then just apply it to the rest. So we might even have like a bit of a dithering around here, so it kind of makes it less likely to be right up against the edge, and maybe like have it intensify the amplitude probability at the edges as well, just so you get a nice border to the map, because it will, because it will kind of cut off and you'll just drop off the edge and it'll kill your ball or something at that point. So yeah, so we've got the map here. That's kind of the space we're going for, and we need to just find the right octave. So let's stop this from auto-generating every time, and we'll say let's do 5 octaves, 6, 7, 3. Alright, let's go with, yeah, that's quite good because it's don't want to be too clump, but yeah. We'll reduce the probability of them coming up, so we'll go 0.0 to 0.2. So effectively by doing this cutoff, we're cutting off the percentages. So this is saying that if anything has a greater than 30% chance of being a spot where a tree appears, get rid of it. And so you can only have a maximum of 30% chance. And so you'll cut out most of the probabilities. Of course, this is going to be something that's tweakable by the player, so they'll be able to tweak it here. So these options here, which will allow them to choose how much of each one there is. Right. Yeah, so that's kind of where we'll start, I think. So let's say let's just pass in some, so we'll pass in a draw, we'll pass in a colour in here, so we can establish this. So we can pass in an RGB, so no red, a lot of green, and no blue. And we'll just go to our draw function. This is just to make it so I can quickly see how they mix together. We'll pass that in there. I'll do colour in there. Colour in there. Because no. What's colour? So that makes them nice and green. And then we're going to do a second draw, which will be sort of green and blue, and we can make that, this is going to be the bushes, right? So we've got trees, bushes. So it's using the same noise pattern, like, because we save it up here, right? We should only generate one ever. So they always go on top of each other. And we're going to kind of tweak it to see how we can get this to work. So going to be a bit more sparse. Oh, there'll be more, but they'll be grouped together. So let's do that. So let's get 0.9, 0.8. Yeah, it looks decent. Because that all kind of, now obviously what's happening here, because I've chosen 0.6 to 0.8 and not 0.0 to 0.3, you're not going to get any of these near each other. Whereas if I chose, say, 0.2 to 0.4, you end up with values which are clumped around each other, right? Probably want to put the bushes first as well, so that we don't overwrite trees because trees are more important. So you end up with the bushes being clumped quite close to the trees, which is quite cool. Let's just do generate a few different versions so we can sort of go through and see how this will appear. Let's get rid of the octave change. And that. So it's going to generate different versions of it. So let's change that to 3. So we can see and go through and see how it looks for different variations. So this is to be the same equation, the same noise pattern, generating a bunch of different versions. And we could actually re-update the noise by doing white noise equals white noise and just generate a new noise pattern for each frame. So we actually get a completely different one, and we can sort of then see how it's working for each one, which is quite interesting. So just look through these, you can kind of see how it's generating, and see. So yeah, the bushes always cluster near the trees. I might reduce the amount of trees going on, right? Because we don't have too many. So let's do 0.3 to 0.4. 0.2 to 0.3. Oh, that's the bushes. Get that right. 0.0 to 0.2. Hey, YouTuber. How you doing? Yeah. So there's still probably too many trees going on. Just turn that down a little bit. Maybe if we turn it 0.1 to 0.3. Good to hear that. Are you a game dev as well, Tuba? Yeah. So today I'm working on making it. I'm making a golf game basically. I don't know if you've seen it before. Which will look something like this eventually. This is the kind of a mock-up of it, done in Blender as well, actually, by the way. But it's quite early stage, as if you have a look at here, the game currently isn't actually in golf. It's just putting down some points, could make it a course editor. So this is just some procedural prototyping to learn about it, because I don't really know too much about it. I'm just kind of learning at the moment. So here, yeah, so we've got the light greens are trees based on a noise function, and then we get the bushes generated near, sort of around them, based on the same noise function. So we put this down a bit, just to make them clump close to the trees. Yeah, that's quite good. Game dev in Unity easier than in Blender. I've never done actual coding in Blender. You can do Python, I think, isn't it, or something? I can't remember. I haven't really looked into it too much. I've heard. I mean, people have done stuff in it, but I don't know of any actually published games in from Blender. I'm not sure how powerful the scripting engine is. I mean, I've only done Unity for a little while, like 6 months or so, so I probably wouldn't be the best person to ask about which one's easier. Before that, I've only done JavaScript for games, really. Well, no, I've done Python a few years back, 2D stuff. But that wasn't in any engine or anything. That was just using, can't remember, the Pygame, that's one, which is really good. Most of the stuff I've done is in JavaScript. Which is what I'm doing in here. Yeah. So you're using Blender to write a game then? Should probably put chat in the video. Do that another day. Cool, so that's kind of the general idea of how I'm going to do this. I think that's good. So now I need to map this into Unity, right? Which is going to be interesting. I will probably make things like these properties. I'll make it all sort of mono behavior, so it'd be easy to tweak when I'm doing it live, as in, you know, in the middle of the game. But yeah, I'll just pause that for now, so I don't kill my computer. Yeah. So now I got this. Let's just save that. That's cool. So the question is now, how do you do this in Unity, right? Here's a question. So I need to let's close all these. Ding, 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 ding. Right. So we've got this adding feature to group node stuff. So have a look. Hey. I just linked back to myself, that did. How's that supposed to work? That just links back to myself. Alright. IP logger. Fair enough. Got my IP. Isn't that? Right. Yes. Trying to read my IP address. Fair enough. Well, have fun with that. Probably guess from my accent. Who knows? Who cares? Anyway, whatever. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So anyway, so this is about adding features, groups to node and stuff, which is about adding groups of trees and whatever. So this is what I'm going to have to refactor, but I think I'll add some behaviors to nodes which are for optional for doing yeah, so but a bunch of different behaviors for different bits and bobs. So let's see how we do this, eh? Yeah. So let's think. So we'll add a new course. We've got feature trees, we've got course nodes. So the course nodes will have the extra behaviors on them. Brentwood? Nope, not in Brentwood. Not even close. Where even is Brentwood? That is not where I am, that's for certain anyway. No. 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 Good try though. Did I do? Anyway. Right. Yeah, so it creates does a bunch of random things, and we need to add some behaviors to the course nodes. So anyway, so let's start doing that. So we have to generate noise. We need to do that at some point, but I'll do that later. Alright, fair enough. Let's just key thing. Anyway, weird. That's kind of throwing me off. Anyway. So yeah, anyway, right, back on track, eh? So course nodes, behaviors. So we generate noise. I'll do that in some other class somewhere, some like procgen helpers class, and then we cut off and probabilities and so forth. The actual properties that we're going to pass in are going to be on the things themselves, I guess. We'll have to have a feature which is a noise behavior, I guess, which can have, yeah. So if we just say we have the noise class, right? So noise, it's probably I imagine there's a library for this one. Let's learn it. Oh, no. So we have a noise behavior, which is going to generate all our stuff, right? So we'll have different functions for it, and we'll have different types. So we'll probably have a public color string. Ooh, man, it's going to be enum, isn't it? Noise color. Yeah, I guess noise color. We'll just have white for now. That's the only option. Or was it something like that, wasn't it? Oh, yeah. No equals thing. So the only color you can have for now is white. And we'll just have a bunch of functions for that. So let's have a private. So it'll return something, but we'll just do this for now. White noise. Generate white noise function. And we'll have a. Guess we'll have Perlin. We'll have Perlin. Need a deterministic seed. I don't know if you can do that in C#, but I presume you can. We need an empty. Let's not bother to generate keyword or prefix because that's just going to get annoying. So we've got a what's all this sound, eh? Anyway, so we have an empty one, a white noise one, or we have noise and white noise, I guess. Private void, some noise. Some noise. Just got that down. Yeah, that was going to generate noise. Then we have interplay, smoothen, Yeah, my mic's got a bit funky, hasn't it? It was alright. That was up a bit. It's just reconnection works better. Maybe do. Reconnection works better. Does that sound alright? Ah man, why is it going all poppy? That is a bit frustrating. Oh, graphics. No, I'm kind of okay with that for now. I'm happy doing it myself. And I might do in the future, but I'm probably more likely to look for music rather than graphics. Because most of it's going to be pretty simple anyway. So it should be alright. But thanks anyway. I might do in the future, but I'm probably more likely to look for music. Graphics. Because most of it's... Mike's got to do better. Cool, Mike's better now. Oh really? Yeah, fair enough. Is Mike alright? Sounds right, bro. Mike, come on, catch up stream. Is Mike alright? Sounds right, bro. Yeah, it sounds like it's less poppy now, but to me anyway, via the stream, back onto myself, but we'll see. I'll just get on with coding anyway. What can you do? Streaming troubles, eh? So anyway, cool, right. So yeah, we've got the interpolate function, and we got smoothing and purling, which I had as well, along with cutoff and probability. So basically, just going to replicate that JavaScript code into the into this noise behavior. I mean, there's probably a far better way of doing this, but that'll do for me. Per line, per lin. Cough, ding, and then probability, ding. Right, so we need a color. If you didn't catch it earlier, here's a link to the prototype in JavaScript. Again, that'll be in the YouTube description. Yeah, so we're going to need an empty array of arrays, 2D array, along with Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, so the empty one. Now the annoying thing is you can't really do this as easily in C#. JavaScript is quite a handy little language for that. So it's going to generate a list of things. Interesting. So you can have an actual 2D array. That's quite cool. So I can do. This is going to be a private double float double private double ding. Is that actually going to work? You can't do that actually. Nope. Do. Yeah. Why can't I do that? Oh yeah, it's just because it doesn't actually return it. Right. So that would effectively need to return a new double. Say 1 1. Right. Cool. When we're taking the dimensions here, so as per, well, the empties it's got a fixed count, right? So it's going to need we'll put the dimensions on here. So say width, public int width, public int height. So this will do width, height. I assume that's how that works, eh? Goodness knows. So that generates the empty map, which I guess is actually probably quicker than JavaScript. I just like the way JavaScript looks, to be honest. So that generates the cool. Then we need to have the general noise function, and then white noise just passing around into it. We'll have it as like this now, because we might end up doing red noise or pink noise. I think depends on what scene is better. There's a few different variations you can do other than just white noise. So this will return again a double to the array, and that returns empty, right? Mapped. Now, how do you do mapping in C#? Can you even do it? Ba, 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 ba. So you can do a numeral for each yield. That's interesting. So this apparently might be what I need for mapping. Let's see what happens, eh? What's going on here? Let's have a look at this post. Boom. Sum of squares. Where do you come from? Systems or collections? Of course it is. Alright. Using systems, not collections. So that should bring us back. No. Wait, what? Our system, not systems. Yeah, numpty. Cool. Were you not in that? You say you are. But you're saying you're not. Are you using yeah, okay, fine. So that's fine. Using system collections. Why are you not? You can't use type arguments. What the heck's that even mean? Oh wait. I can't pass a type into that. What? So why are you telling me I can? Oh, you were 2007. That's probably why it doesn't work. Because it's really old. C sharp. Very much. A. So passing array. Dot select that. Run some function. Okay, right. So in theory, I can do my array dot select that's alright, so that's going to be say row, and we'll just do row dot select. Can you do it like this? Nobody knows. So the original one, right, did a map, which does a row, does a map to amplitude and y, and then runs the amp function. So this is the amp func. I can even do lambdas in C#. This is the problem with C#, is it's not JavaScript and I can't work it out. Oh, not that. C# lambda bing. Oh, maybe I can. The question is, does it work on Unity's version of C#? Because that's all a bit funk. Because I can actually pass a lambda in here. Now the question is, how do I say this is accepting a lambda? Infrared statement, yada yada yada. It's delegate, isn't it? So I think. Let's see, what was that? But how do I say expression predicate? Does it even work? Let's just pass back row for now, right? We'll just say do that for now. See if this even works. Select does not contain no extension method select. Is it because it's only going to take a single array? Surely that's cannot map. I could just loop, I suppose. It's kind of rubbish, but let's just do loops for now. I'll come back to this. Yeah, anyway, so double loop empty equals empty. So create an empty map, rather, yeah, empty thing. We'll then loop for it twice to get 2 levels, and then I presume you can do the same thing. In I equals 0, actually this is, yeah, I equals 0, it's actually x, isn't it? X equals 0, x is less than empty dot count, x plus plus, and then we'll do y for in y equals 0, y is less than empty x dot count, y plus plus, bing. Turn noise here. Oops. People hear my mic okay now? Because it was all a bit messed up earlier. Just let me know in chat if it sounds fine to you. People hear my mic okay now? Because it seems a little bit noisy, but whatever. Alright. Why is it not? Okay, why not 2D, hey? Let's just try it as like that instead. Yeah, do that. Probably not. Interesting. Because I presume then that this would allow me to do count. Why can't you just work the same way? Why does a 2D array not have count on it? I guess it probably works different, isn't it? So now I'm going to have to can't just pass height in there, I've got to fill it out. Oh, whatever. We'll map over that and do something with it. What? What's the noise? Was that not? It is just dot count. Because the count's on the list, isn't it? Not on the array. Damn it, C#. C# array length. Ding. It is dot length. See, why do you have 2 different ways of doing the same thing? What possible reason is there? You're just being awkward. Like, why do you have a count method and a length method on the same ruddy thing? Now I can't reference that one directly, can I? Because it's a 2D array, so I can only reference it in one go. Actually, I guess we know it's width and height anyway, isn't it? So less than width and less than height, which means we're going to do noise x y equals, and then this is our function to pass in. So for now, I'll just do a random one, which, excuse me while I forget how to do random numbers. I did it somewhere. Ding, random. Yeah, that's one. Ding. Why did I do it use the engine random? I can't remember. I think it was a float, wasn't it? So we've just passed in some random value in here. And that'll just generate some white noise. At the moment, we'll refactor at some point to have it so we allow different noise functions in there, so we can have things other than white noise. But for now, we'll just do some noise. Bing. Right, let's do this. Update to accept a noise function. No, an amplitude function. Lambda. To allow other colours of noise. Because at the moment we're going to default this to white. So when we generate it, it will double quotes. It will just use white anyway. What am I doing? White. Ding. Help if you did it right. There we go, Lawrence. Good work. Right. So that's going to generate some random noise. So at this point in time, we will end up with. Oh, well, that's interesting. Oh, I'm going to apply it on top. Isn't that fun? We'll end up with a single octave. Boom, of this. So we'll end up. We're currently working on got this. So that will, well, yeah, we'll do once it's actually integrated into Unity, which it isn't at the moment, but we'll get there. So that's generating some noise. Right. Now, to actually get Perlin noise, because at the moment we've just got a single noise function, right? Once you've got just one level of noise, you want to then smoothen that out a bit. So we could actually, I'll show it here, right? So if we just draw our noise, that just does that, right? So that just draws out the noise. If we smoothen it, and we pass in, say, 1, that smooths it a bit, and the higher this goes, the smoother it gets, right? So we don't do any smoothing, it's completely flat. Do a little bit of smoothing, and basically what that does is it averages out each point to average with its neighbours. So as you can see, it starts generating. I mean, there's obviously some flaw in it because it's got a few lines, but whatever. It's good enough. As you increase the smoothing, it becomes less and less defined. So Perlin works by doing multiple levels of this smoothing function on top of each other as different octaves, amongst other things. So if we run that, and we generate Perlin, and we do doodly octave change. So here we're seeing multiple levels of smoothing on top of each other. So that's where we're going next. First up though is just generate a smooth version of the noise. And the smooth function is pretty much taken from that link I put in earlier, the Perlin noise one, which is this one. It's basically just a just a copy of that into JavaScript, and I'll now copy it into C#. So we'll do some interpolations there in a second, but first off we're going to do smoothing. So this takes in, it gives back a another double 2D array, takes in a double 2D array, a 2D array of doubles of noise, and an octave, which is an integer. Is it an integer? Well, it's a float. It's a double. It's an integer. Integers do fine. And we're going to get the width, height, and work out a bunch of stuff. So we have a int of sample period, which is equal to 2 to the power of the octave. Can you do that straight in C#, hey? Looks like it works. Yeah, sweet. That's good. And then we need some a double of sample frequency, which is equal to 1.0 over the sample period. So that gives us, these are for picking the different where to sample it in, the noise, say how often, how much, and that then smooths around. So it's how often to pick a thing and smooth it. So then we get a double 2D array. Equals empty. So we generate an empty set of noise. Smooth noise, which you then fill out with the data from the passed in noise function. So then we've got to loop through the as we did here, basically is this. You could probably add a function that just does this, but it'll be fine for now. Yeah, so we loop through the different bits for the each x, which is left to right, obviously. We get two samples. We get the x0, which is this one wrapped around, and this one is based on the sample period, and then you blend them together. Basically, is the idea. So we have a that is a integer of x over sample, so integer sample x0 equals x over sample period times sample period, and that just makes sure this just converts it to the highest integer within the range. And then the second sample was sample of the first one plus a sample period, or just the width. Yeah, sweet, cool. And then the horizontal blend. So this is the blend is used for the interpolation, which determines how much of each one you get. So as you add a layer on top, it interpolates between the node or the pixel that's beneath it and the one that's above it as you add on top. Just do a mic check again. Cool. So we blend it horizontally. So that's the x minus the sample x0 times the sample period, frequency, not period. That gives us the blender. That's probably because that's a mixture. Double in. That is a double, yeah. Cool. So you do that. Then we do this basically the same for the y. Get ourselves a vert blend. So y over the sample period, sample y0, y minus y0. Then you get the top and the bottom layers and interpolate them together, the corners basically. So that returns a double top equals interpolate. We pick out the noise sample x0, sample y0, the noise, so basically these are different corners. So this is the top left, top right, so that gives us our blended top with our horizontal blend. Our bottom is then the bottom two corners for each one, so we interpolate bottom two corners, which is sample x0, sample y1, and noise sample x1 to the bottom right, and our horizontal blends again. And then the smooth noise is x, y equals the interpolation of the top, the bottom, and then 30 verb blend. Cool, and we can just return smooth noise. So interpolation, right, is a function which takes two values and returns the even interpolation of the two. So there's a whole bunch of different ways you can do this, but this is just what I'm doing for now because that's what the guy did in the tutorial I read, basically. I'm not entirely sure what's going on, but we'll go over this for now. This is a int, right? Double. Double, and the alpha is a double, and that returns a double. Bing. So that interpolates the two different values. That gives us a smooth version of noise. And then we want to generate a Perlin version of this. So this will take the noise and the octave count. So this is going to be how many times. So that octave count is how many times you want to run over it. So just to refresh. So here we're drawing Perlin noise, and it's changing the octave. So as you can see, this is as the octave goes higher, it gets blurrier, and as it comes back down, this is how many times to redraw. And as it gets down to 0, it goes nice and clear. So you can sort of see. So just to hard code this right. So the first octave is just straight up drawn. The second time around it has a bit blur. Third time around it has a bit more. If you do it like 8 times, you get just a pretty much flat image. Yeah, so the noise is again a double 2D double array, or double 2D array of doubles, whatever it's called. And this is a int for the octave count. I need to work out my consistency of spacing on these brackets. Yeah, it's probably that way. Ready. So the Perlin, yeah, so it loops, does smoothen a few times, and keeps applying it onto itself. Something to that effect. Probably not best for explaining this. So we take our noise. So what we do, start off first with generating a smooth version of the noise for each octave. So you get a array of 2D arrays. So 3D array, I guess. So we have a. How do you do that? That is an array of. So you've got a 2D array, and you want to have an array of those. Is that like it's more like it's an array of them. C sharp array of 2D array. What's that even a thing? How initialize an array of 2D arrays? Right, okay, so we need a double. Oh, that ding, got it. So initially the smooth noises is you map the noise for each count. So new double. Oops. basically octave count. Yeah, I guess so. So for in I equals 0, I is less than octave count. So we'll loop for each octave and we'll push a smoothen version of the noise into the smooth noises array. So smooth noises I equal to smoothen a smooth version of the noise at I. We'll rename this to octave so it's clear what's going on. So for each octave we generate a smoothen version of the noise at that octave. We would create a new set of Perlin noise. So a 2D array of Perlin noise equal to the empty map. Our amplitude, we're going to set that to just so these are some functions you can change to determine the kind of final output. I don't think I need to fiddle these too much, so I'll leave them in here for now. We'll say yeah. The persistence kind of determines how strongly it weights towards either side of the top and bottom. We then loop through all the octaves in reverse order and apply the adder to apply it to each one. So for int octave equals octave count. It's not often you do a reverse loop. Amplitude times equals persistence. Probably just copy paste this to be honest. It's basically exactly the same, isn't it? Thing. Indentation's a bit funky, but we'll sort that out. Right. What's that? Not too many brackets there. That's for that one. Okay, cool. That one's for. Wait, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Right. So int x. Definitely have to write a function for this double loop thing. xy. xy. Smooth noises. Smoothed thing. Don't need the space, so we can do that. So that will loop through all the octaves in reverse order and add the smooth noise at that octave, multiplied by the amplitude. And then we'll loop through it again. Why am I doing a double loop here? Why is there a second loop here? Oh yeah, because we redo it. So we get the total amplitude and divide it by that. So that kind of averages it once you've gone through it once. And we'll make this return a double 2D array. And that is Perlin noise, which is a lot simpler than it sounded when I first thought about doing this. But there you go. Finish off these last two functions, and then I will call it a day. Hopefully then next time it'll be nice and visual. So I'll be streaming again on Sunday at 7 PM. Hopefully, might be doing it earlier. Might do a longer stream because I've got a very empty Sunday, so I might do it most of the day. Who knows? So cut off maps the octaves and basically just checks that everything's within a minimum max, right? So pretty straightforward. So this is a int octaves. Oh, it's not. Well, that is actually the Perlin noise, right? So this is a double array of 2D arrays, octaves, and a double min, double max. Then we just loop through them all and set them. So bar ding, and so actually got. I mean, this is probably not the most efficient code in the universe, but there you go. So that goes through all the octaves, X and Y. And then if the amplitude, so the amplitude is the octave, octaves, octave, X, Y. If amp is less than min, amp equals min. Oops. Else if amp is greater than max, ding, amp equals max. So I'll just clamp it. There's probably a helper function for that, but whatever. Then we do octaves, octave, X, Y equals amp. Now, so that'll reset that, and then we return it. Ding. That returns a array of 2D array of doubles. Ding. And finally, probability simply takes a set of octaves, which is our stuff generated by a Perlin noise. The reason I'm just calling it octaves here rather than Perlin noise is because I might use different noise functions again, same as the noise applies, because there's other ones I can't forget what they're called, but it's not just Perlin. We never know. And then we go through all those again, and basically if a random float between 0 and 1 is less than or equal to the amplitude, we return a 1, otherwise we return 0. It basically just turns it into a boolean based on a random function. So if random.value is less than or equal to amplitude, amp equals 1, whatever, else amp equals 0. Now we do octaves, octave, xy equals amp, and oh wait, hang on a minute. That one is that one. Yeah. And then we just return octaves down at the bottom and make this return another double array of 2D arrays. So that's pretty ugly compared to mapping, but whatever. So this is our noise stuff. So I'm gonna call it a day there, but the idea is that this will add this as a component onto each node. You can then tweak the values in the things, it'll regenerate, and based on a bunch of noise functions and widths and heights and stuff. Is the theory. But I've got to add all that in, which I'll do on Sunday or before Sunday, basically. What if it actually compiled, eh? Or all that and it actually compiles, that'd be pretty magical. Looks like it did. Amazing. Cool. Yeah, so I'm going to call it a day there. For those who are watching your stream, thanks for watching. You can follow me on Twitter at Gelatin Design. I'll be uploading this to YouTube, .com/Gelatin Design, same as everywhere. For posterity's sake, because I'm sure so many people will want to watch this, maybe. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time as I wait for the stream to finish. I'm sure so many